Personally, I find the level of fanfare that's been given to Lewis Hamilton at the inception of his career with Ferrari nauseating, because I think that they're cheering him on, taking pictures of him with capes on, with the red, showing the livery, and doing all of this fanfare just to make money off of an old warhorse who probably will not produce any wins for them. I'm exaggerating. Who has passed his prime when there's no indication that he's the driver for them, especially when they had Sainz. They had Sainz, who was one of the best drivers in the world, and definitely one of the top 2 or 3 when it comes to giving feedback to engineers. They have Leclerc, who's a superstar, and they bring in Hamilton in a year after he's been dusted royally by George Russell, especially in qualifiers, in which he's shown that he's lost a step in qualifying. Now, I'm going to go on record as saying he may not have been proven yet to have lost racecraft and race trim, but also that's in question as well. But the point I'm making is that Ferrari had 2 very good drivers who have brought them this far, and then they take Sainz and throw him away when arguably Sainz is better for team chemistry and is better for results in the Constructors as well as in the Drivers' Championship. Not only has Ferrari betrayed Sainz, to me they've betrayed Leclerc also. Now that Sainz is gone, Leclerc earned the right to be the #1 driver for Ferrari. Everyone knows that when it comes to raw pace, point to point, he's just as good as any driver in the world, and he's probably faster than Hamilton, and even if he isn't, he's the future because he's still in his 20s. Ferrari brings in Hamilton and lets the news, even if it's not true, make it look as if Hamilton is the #1 driver. This is very disrespectful to Leclerc, who's worked very hard with this team. And once again, I'm going to say the disrespect that they've shown to Sainz, getting rid of him when he's a better choice for the team than Hamilton. I can only imagine what Leclerc is really thinking, but the amount of attention that they're giving to Hamilton and the perception they're putting out there that he's their #1 driver rather than Leclerc seems very disrespectful to me. I think it's a little bit disingenuous, though, and I think that what they're doing is pumping up Hamilton now so that they can make as much money as they can off of him through merchandising and through lassoing in people who love Hamilton for various reasons. Let's go back to last season again. Leclerc and Sainz worked very hard together to bring Ferrari to the verge of winning a Constructors. They're only a little bit behind McLaren, and they've made great improvements. And Ferrari has shown that, counterintuitively to the idea that they're a team of tradition and loyalty and honor, that they are very disloyal. What they did to Sainz was very disloyal, not to take anything away from Hamilton, because Hamilton is also worthy to drive for Ferrari, but by getting rid of Sainz and bringing in Hamilton, they've shown that they're not a classy team at all. Now, aside from this, I think that the chances of Hamilton winning a title next year are very good for this reason. Ferrari is not too far behind McLaren, and last year, for a lot of the season, they were better than McLaren and Red Bull and Mercedes. So they have a good car, and they're making some adjustments to their car, which might put them ahead of McLaren. I don't think they're going to go ahead of McLaren, but I think that they have the potential to do that. And I think that Hamilton may not be as good as Leclerc when it comes to qualifying, but with his race pace, if he's not too far behind Leclerc, he can beat Leclerc. The question is, can he beat Norris and McLaren? Intuitively, I think Norris and McLaren will win, but I think Ferrari has a good shot of having a faster car or of being right there. But the problem is that Hamilton and Leclerc will probably steal points from each other. But Hamilton does have a chance of winning next year and getting his 8th title, so I don't want to steal anything away from him. But once again, I'll say that this sort of fanfare that's going on now with his arrival at Ferrari is a little bit excessive and distractive to other storylines which are more important in Formula One as far as I'm concerned. But that's just my opinion. I'm going to end by stating what I think we need to worry about Hamilton. I think he has 3 problems. The first problem is that he might have lost some raw pace because he's been struggling with qualifying. George Russell beat him handily in qualifying last year and has been doing that for the last 2 or 3 years since he got beaten at Abu Dhabi by Verstappen. The second problem is that Hamilton does not take ownership. We saw that last year, in which George Russell was dictating to the engineers and to his team what strategies he could take, but Hamilton was more passive and would perhaps state a strategy or state what preferences he has, but would defer to the team, and then later on when things go wrong, he blames it on the team. So at Ferrari, he's going to have to take a leadership position in which he dictates the strategy. He gives very good feedback to his engineers, and asserts himself as a leader.